David, I can't even see you, David. Where are you?
Where are you?
I can't
it's so
see you.
fucking dark.
David, it's so weird that we've recorded this episode in the dark, given that it's an audio medium, and that played no effect whatsoever on the viewers.
It's actually weird because I always record in the dark.
That's why I always record standing on my head. Isn't that fun?
This is a very long handstand. Ethan, we're talking about our top 5 movies where daylight plays a role, the lack thereof, or the overabundance of that.
But something where daylight is, vital.
What's number 5?
My number 5?
You're gonna have a weird fucking list.
My number 5? Are you asking about my number 5?
Yes, sir.
David, where does the light in the day come from?
The sun?
That's right. Sunshine, baby.
Because
it's it's the sun. Because
the Danny Boyle movie. Yes, sir.
To the sun, and because the daylight. That's my only connection. But it's good. It's good. It's good.
Yeah. It's got Chris Evans. It's got Cillian Murphy.
My boys.
Yes. Weird pick.
Sorry.
No, it's not weird. I was thinking about this one for a while, but.
It's a weird. We chose such a niche and there's nothing I can do to research it other than just knowing and thinking of ones off the top of my head. I can't look up movies where daylight either plays a role or perhaps does not play a role, but still impacts the movie they're in.
So your movie deals with a lot of sunlight.
Perhaps too much sunlight.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, yeah. Mine deals with not much of any. Mm-hmm. Cough. And that is Neil Marshall's 2005 The Descent, a movie about a group of spelunkers who get caught in a underground dwelling and then get fucked up by weird creatures who can't see. It's a really good little horror movie that deals very well. This is like one of the best cases of claustrophobia, I think, and also just like showing your characters survive in the darkness.
Right. Speaking of creatures in the darkness, Vin Diesel was in the dark for a little bit.
Wow.
And he can see there when he's in the dark. My number 4 is Chronicles of Riddick. Now, it actually doesn't really have to do with him seeing in the dark for why I chose this one. There's specifically a prison break sequence where the day-night cycle is like sped up and dramatic. So at night it's like freezing cold. But during the day, it like literally scorches the earth when the sun gets it, and they have to scale a cliff during that. So you have the sun like going over. It's really cool. It's really fucking
you
like
really
it's an
like
awesome
this movie
sequence.
More than Sunshine?
Yes. I ranked this list not on just my favorite ones, but the ways they utilize sunlight and or lack thereof, in terms of like how efficient and interesting it was.
Yes. So, do you have more? I don't know if you
No, that was it. Chronicles of Riddick. That's a super cool. Well, I did like Chronicles of Riddick. And I think that sequence in particular is like really fucking cool.
Second favorite Vin Diesel movie for Ethan. My number 4 is... So, with this list, I feel like it was very easy to pull in vampire movies because vampires obviously have the catch that they can't go out in the sunlight. So, sunlight always plays an important role in those types of movies. So one movie I was really thinking about putting on this list was the Jim Jarmusch film Only Lovers Left Alive, which is a really fun... I mean, if you've seen Jim Jarmusch, he normally does these like very not conventional story structures.
Even in The Dead Don't Die, it's the sun gets all fucked up.
Yeah. But in Only Lovers Left Alive, it's really just like a hangout movie, which is not the right word for it, with just two vampires who kind of just chill inside all day. But the vampire movie that I'm going with is Let the Right One In, which is a very dark child vampire story. It's a foreign film that follows around a young female vampire as she kind of...
That was then remade in an English version by Matt Reeves.
Which I also hear is supposed to be a pretty solid remake.
Haven't seen either.
Really? So I won't say much then, but it is a very moody vampire film that deals with a child befriending a young vampire who who is also kind of learning her way. This one would have been higher if, again, this would have been ranked on quality of film, but since we're ranking these on quality of sunlight impact, this one was just a little lower. What's your number 3?
David, I hear you. Having movies about vampires is too easy. And I think if you do it, you're a coward and should be hung. So the vampire movie that I picked for my number 3 is Daybreakers. Mainly because... So Daybreakers. Are you familiar with Daybreakers?
I'm aware, but okay. I'm also aware that there's a movie called Drawing a Blank at the Vampire.
Nice. Come on. What We Do in the Shadows?
Yeah. You didn't put that on?
No. Specifically because they're... So, obviously with vampires, sunlight plays a role into all of it. This is my favorite way that they've done that. Have you seen Daybreakers?
I've honestly seen bits of it on TV.
Okay.
That's
so one of the main things is that the sunlight, there's a misconception they have about it, and it completely changes the direction of the film about halfway through.
Oh.
That is the tonal shift of this movie is reliant almost exclusively on sunlight. It's also a fascinating world because vampires have just taken over. They're the normal society. They do factory farms of humans.
Wow.
And all the cars are designed for night mode.
That's pretty cool.
And literally everything that happens in this society is at night. It's cool to see vampires not as the lone creature in the shadow, but as the whole society.
You know what's fascinating to me is learning what movies you rank above Sunshine.
No, God, it's that.
I know.
It's not quality because listen, it's just the most interesting way they use sunlight, and I felt like because it was daylight that we talked about, I felt like Sunshine was a little cheating because it's the sun,
My number 3
is the Teletubby movie. The baby sun is such an integral part to the story.
Nope. My number 3 is a murder mystery film starring
Sacre Bleu.
Robin Williams and Al Pacino and Hilary Swank. It's Christopher Nolan's Insomnia, which deals with a police detective going to Alaska to solve a murder case. And he has to deal with the fact that the sun doesn't really set, and it kind of fucks with his mental state while investigating this case. And there's another movie on this list which deals with the sun not going down and that playing a big role. And this one does it in a very interesting way, although I think it could have been capitalized on a little bit better. But I still really dig this movie.
Okay.
You have not seen this one, have you?
No.
Yeah. That's what I thought, bitch. What's your number 2?
My number 2, again, I want to really stress that this film is not ranked on quality of movie. Because
what's your number 2?
My number 2, it would be number 1 if it was just quality of movie.
Oh.
But when you hear number 1, and if you're thinking quality of movie, you're going to think very differently about me. My number 2 is Midsommar. Which is all about kind of the daylight plays a role in that it adds to the horror aspect of a very, let's say, turbulent time in our young Danny's life, as played beautifully by Florence Pugh. But it also plays against horror tropes by having everything in broad daylight and kind of truth revealed in the light. And it's almost suffocating you as well as intoxicating you at the same time. It really, really fucks with you. I love it.
It's fantastic. But it's not my number 2. My number 2 is from writer-director Dan Gilroy.
I've heard
That's
of him.
Nightcrawler. This movie deals with the realistic horrors of nighttime, where our star Lou Bloom comes out to capture the news. And there's I think one scene that takes place in the daylight, and you can seeing the lizard, the chameleon that is Lou Bloom in the daylight is almost more horrifying than when you see him at night.
Well, because at night he's in his habitat. He's nocturnal.
Yes. Because he is a nocturnal creature.
He's a nocturnal animal, another Jake Gyllenhaal film.
Yes. But seeing him in the nighttime, just going out and capturing the tragic news in California.
Interesting. David, it's time for my number one film where daylight and or lack thereof plays a critical role into the plot of the film or the tone of the film, substantially so enough to make it on the list, and you rank the list based on how it affects it. Man, it's going to be such a long title for this one, huh? Now, David, you're going to get mad because it's related to another movie. But the way they use sunlight is different. So, in Pitch Black, Vin Diesel can see in the dark. And in this one, I know, David, I know what you're thinking. Ethan made a list that was not a list about Vin Diesel sci-fi films, and he put a Riddick movie on there twice. What's going on with Ethan? Totally fair. I hear what you're saying. Pitch Black is literally a survival horror with a kind of super human who can see in the dark and is like this ruthless killer faced up against a planet that literally like everything is dead when it turns to night.
Is he going against Ego?
No, that's a different Vin Diesel sci-fi film.
He's not the tree in this one.
But in Pitch Black, it literally is like when it's dark, specifically when it's dark, you have these insanely well-designed creatures that on some level act like sharks and some level act like locusts. Like it's literally just a swarm of death approaches with the night. And it's shot very, very well in the way they use darkness and the way they show like the little glimpses of light when you can see the horror are fucking terrifying. It's really good. I like Pitch Black quite a bit. Again, I do want to say
this has been a fascinating episode.
This is not
we've learned a lot
the
about
ranking of this is just how they use light, not calling it a film. I do not think Pitch Black is better than Midsommar.
Ethan, I think this is like 4 episodes in a row where my number one has been the only other duplicate on the other person's list.
That's crazy.
Because my number one is Midsommar. It displays horrific images, but it also uses the daylight to make you feel like you should be at ease, but you are not throughout the entire thing. And there is a deleted scene, which was included in the director's cut, where it shows actually a pretty scary scene, given the like rest of the movie, but it does it in nighttime.
And it just doesn't work because it's at night.
It does not work. Yeah. And cutting it out makes the movie so much better. Keeping everything in the daylight makes it so scary.
Well, it's almost like a perpetual daylight.
With so many movies, especially horror movies, it's like nothing's going to happen during the daylight. You're safe. Calm down. Everything's okay. And then when it gets a little dark outside, everything gets a little scary. But this movie does it all in the calm of the sun. And it's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. That's it. Those are the ones. Do you like playing in the sun?
Not anymore.
So the sun is cold outside. There's no kind of atmosphere. I'm all alone, more or less. Let me fly far away from here, and it's fun, fun, fun. In the sun, sun, sun. You know, like the sun.
Yeah.
That's the theme song for Red Dwarf.
That's a song. Yes, it is.
Red,
wow.
Red like the color that Superman is sometimes. You know who fought Superman in that one movie? Batman. You know who played Batman? Ben Affleck. We're talking Ben Affleck films next time.
You know who also played Superman at a time? Ben Affleck.
Oh.
So you could have just fucking gone with that one.
Just kind of like that was like a little too quick of a transition for me. We'll see you then.
You like
Bye.
to drag out the fucking
right, and you like to drag out the outro where we say our goodbyes and they join us on the next episode.
Well, that's just because I like spending time with you. But okay, bye.